Today's shout out is for Zuldinga. Mareth, Will of the Wilds this time, and don't think much of that opening hand we want to be ramping. That is only slightly better. We'll keep, and I think have to get rid of Azusa. Our opponent's on the play, gets down Sacred Foundry and tapped. We will get a tap land in. Let's go for Sacred Foundry as well, just for the fun of it. And then another land for them, one land away from their commander. We have, we can sacrifice that to the Harrow, so just go for the Breeding Pool in tapped. Or actually we can shock this in and try and make our opponent not cast their commander. Well, not scared of counter magic. I was hoping that we'd be able to dodge a nice chunk of commander damage. So, we'll just have to let that go. We'll save the Harrow for after our commander has come in. We're going to run out of basics if we keep drawing like this. Let's go Forest and into the Chromatic Lantern. Our opponent dealing 3 commander damage to us gets a land out, and that's it. So maybe looking to remove something here. Might be holding up removal. We get into another big spell in Omnath Locus of Rage. I think pretty much all we can do here is try and get removal out of their hand onto Omnath so that it's not going onto Icy. So Omnath successfully coming into play. We will draw a card with that. And they're holding priority over there, so it might be that they don't want to give us the chance to play a land out and gain some life. Yeah, there's the Path to Exile. I actually am not entirely against that because it means that the Icy is easier to get out, as is the Omnath. So we'll get down our only basic island, put our commander back into the bin, or back in the command zone even, and then we draw into another basic. So we could just go for our commander and a land next turn, and then the turn after go for Icy and play a couple of lands, cantrip those. And if removal's pointed at all of that, then we've still got Omnath Locus of Rage for our opponent to contend with. A Questing Beast from our opponent, so whacking us for, 4, 5, 6 and 7 damage, 3 of which was commander, so we're on 6 points of commander damage now. And there's a guy's Cradle, which is really nice with Omnath, the Omnath Locus of Rage that is. Play a land and get Omnath Locus of Creation out again. And once again it enters, cantrips us. Thassa is really good because that can act as a sort of Phyrexian Arena. Draws us a card every turn with Omnath, assuming that it's Omnath that we want to flicker. So we'll pass at that, and I do think it's Icy next turn. We have to discard down to hand size, that's annoying. Well, it's just going to have to be a land then. Our opponent's commander's swinging in at us. I dare say they've got some kind of combat trick there, so as much as I don't want to take that big a hit, we certainly will. And they had Lightning Bolt, so that goes on to our commander. The Mareth deals the last point of damage to it, so they were getting rid of our commander either way. Do we start getting creatures into play with Omnath? So I think it has to be Icy here, and we might have to throw it away if we're worried about going down. But we'll throw down the Tundra, and we'll certainly draw a card. Gets us into Marsh Flats, so we can draw additional cards with that. Let's just go for Volcanic Island for now. It's a shame that we didn't keep our commander in play, because not only would we have made a bunch of mana, but we could have gone Gaia's Cradle, hold up the Harrow, and we could have got down Thassa as well with the extra mana from our commander, but c'est la vie. Yeah, our opponent doesn't really seem to be playing around counter magic, but we'll hold up the blue mana anyway. I think they're trying to aggro us down at this point. The life gain from Omnath is going to be relevant, I think. So swinging in their commander again. Yeah, do they have double strike or a buff or something like that? We're just going to have to take another hit. We know they've got direct burn in the deck. Go down to 5. Yeah, I want to be able to make extra lands, so I'm just going to have to take this, I think. 1 mana shy of the Beast Within, unfortunately. So down to 5 we go. Need to start gaining life with our commander if we can. Managed to survive another turn. Wayward Sawtooth gets us an additional land. I think the first thing to do is get Big Omnath into play. And then we can go Polluted Delta, which draws us a card and makes us a 5/5 elemental. Okay, and a Windswept Heath as well, so do we go Gaia's Cradle? Yeah, we can go Gaia's Cradle and get down the Wayward Sawtooth, can't we? Triad of the Elysian Grove allows us another land to come into play as well. We'll just go for the Wayward Sawtooth, I think. And the Wayward Sawtooth can block, so we'll go Windswept Heath for our next land. And then Prismatic Omen, we don't really need to get down. We've got Dryad of the Elysian Grove and Prismatic Omen and the Chromatic Lantern. If we get into something like Valakut, then this will become relevant, but we don't have that yet, so just gonna hold up the Beast Within and the Harrow. I don't think I'm gonna use the Harrow. I think I want to use that when my commander's in play. Creating an elemental token with the Mareth. That's a 1/1. so not dealing any damage to us, thankfully. Creating another 1/1, so hopefully that's just for chump blocking. Elesh Norn, we will keep our creatures, thankfully, and they will remain at 3 power, so we'll still be able to block the questing beast. Elesh Norn is not a good thing. They still need to be careful of the lightning bolts that we'll throw around with Omnath. Yep, and just deciding to pass through there. So we'll hold on to Beast Within for now. I think we're going to have plenty of mana this turn. Draw into Scapeshift, that's pretty good. We'll grab Omnath first and foremost. Leave our fetches up just in case. That draws us into a card, that is Wood Elves. Let's drop the Marsh Flats for another landfall. Draws a card with Icy, gain 4 life this time with Omnath, and Big Omnath gives us another big beater. And Scoot Swarm, so now we've got, how much? That is 8 mana. So that means that we can go for Scoot Swarm and Scapeshift if we want to. Yeah, why not? Might break Magic Online, but we'll see what happens. Oh, of course, they've got the Elesh Norn in the way, haven't they? Whoops. Dodged a bullet there due to my bad play. Alright, so let's get the Elesh Norn out of the way. Probably would have broke the client anyway, because I would have gone for Field of the Dead, as well as all these Scapeshift triggers. So Scapeshift can sacrifice a bunch of stuff here, apart from the Gaia's Cradle. And that means we get to search for 9 lands here, so that can be Field of the Dead. We'll grab the Yavimaya, just in case we need to be able to tap fetches down. Grab the Valakut. If I played this turn out better, then I could have gone for Valakut with the Prismatic Omen in play. The Triome is a tap land. Obero, excellent in landfall decks. And then I think it shocks after that. And that is a bunch of triggers going on the stack. Scapeshift is incredible. So Field of the Dead, we get 9 tokens, I think, or maybe it's 8. But luckily no lightning bolts from Valakut. Luckily for our opponent, that is. So with Omnath Locus of Creation, we are going to generate 4 colours. And we will deal 4 damage to our opponent as well. The 4 colours, we're going to get Thassa into play. Unless Icy gives us something better, because we are going to draw a bunch with Icy. Yeah, well, there's Path to Exile, there's Roiling Regrowth. Nothing that we're desperate to cast right now, I don't think. So let's go for bouncing the Oboro, because we've got multiple lands to make this turn. I think we've played 1, so that'll be 2. More triggers. Omnath Locus of Creation won't do anything now that it's had all of its triggers. And then we'll play a Bloodstained Mire. And there is Azusa. If I thought we could guarantee ourselves to get into lots of lands, then I would play that. But I think it is better to go for... yeah, we'll go for the Thassa here. And then we'll get down the Prismatic Omen because we're not doing anything else, I don't think. Didn't get into our free counterspell. Yeah, so goofed up that turn, really, but we ended up with a load of stuff in play anyway. Could have had a bunch of lightning bolts going all over the place. Let's swing in with our elementals. And they're between a rock and a hard place now. They need to wipe the board, but they need to wipe the board after they have got rid of Omnath Locus of Rage, because if they wipe the board, then they'll get lightning bolted 13 times. Oh, 14 times, because Omnath does count itself with that. So whacking our opponent for 9, we'll see if they can get through here. Thassa will flicker our Omnath, which means it comes into play and cantrips us. That is Worldly Tutor. Don't think there's anything in particular that we want to go for. Let's just get rid of some random bits here. So we're both down to 9. Let's see what happens. E-Witness. They could go Path to Exile or Elesh Norn here, but neither really helps them. Maybe they go Lightning Bolt and they can push some other damage through to us. Or maybe they can go Path to Exile, get rid of the Omnath and wipe the board. Well, they're going for the Lightning Bolt. And then they're just passing the turn at that, apparently. So I think this is the turn for us to win. Tap down the Gaia's Cradle for a bunch of green mana. Go Crucible of Worlds. And then all we have to do is play out 3 lands and we bolt our opponent. So playing the second land here, we get the mana from Omnath, the token from Omnath, a card from Icy. Sending our opponent down to 3 mana with the Valakut, hopefully. Get a zombie as well. You know how this script goes at this point. Drawn into a land, Rishkar's Expertise, and Swords to Plowshares. Oh, and we actually deal 4 damage to our opponent with the Omnath before the Valakut hits. So Lightning Bolt going on to us. We've already gained 4 life this turn, so that's sort of negated itself already. But it's a good game to our opponent. Big thank you to them for playing it out. That was a bit of a grueling one towards the end. Hopefully you all enjoyed this return to Omnath Locus of Creation and Lands Matter. Please consider donating on Patreon if you did. The link to that is in the description below. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.